Are we live? We are possibly live. Quite possibly.
Are we?
Oh, how do I make it auto switch on this thing? Because right now it's just looking at you for the whole time. I just realized we're not doing this right. Hey everyone, and welcome to a live stream right here at Comicstorian, and a very rare and opportunity that I am honored to have. I get to chat with the artist of Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns, well known for his work on Flash Rebirth, well known for his work on Sinestro Corps War, Ethan Van Sciver. He's one of my favorite artists in comic books today, and he wanted to chat because he's got a YouTube channel where he teaches you how to draw, and I'm a huge Green Lantern fan, and I assumed you guys would enjoy this as well. So, Ethan, I'm going to switch over to you so you can tell them a little more about what you've done work-wise and figure out how I can make it auto-switch on Google Hangouts. Also,
Hi,
guys,
everyone.
as usual with our Q&As, Super Chat does take priority, but do not fear. We will try to pick as many questions as we can from the actual chat. But like I said, if a Super Chat comes through, I always prioritize that. Feel free to ask whatever you want, but if we feel the question is not going to fit well with what we're talking about, we may just give you a quick answer and kind of move on. And we have our first Super Chat, which was from Mopey stating, let the Super Chats get started.
Hey everyone, I'm Ethan Van Sciver, a longtime veteran for DC Comics. I've worked at Marvel too, just for like a year and a half, drawing New X-Men with Grant Morrison, long time ago, but mostly DC Comics. And during that time, I have drawn Green Lantern Rebirth and brought back Hal Jordan from the dead. Me and Jeff Johns had to kind of undo a lot of stuff that Hal Jordan did back in the 90s, which wasn't so nice. So that's all explained in Green Lantern Rebirth. Then we went on, I revamped and changed Sinestro, created the Sinestro Corps with Jeff Johns, and we did a series called Sinestro Corps War. And from there, we invented the emotional spectrum with all of those characters, all of those costumes, all those designs. I got to design all those and create Atrocitus and Saint Walker and Indigo One and Lara Fleas and all of those characters with Jeff, Blackest Night, and then Flash Rebirth. And currently, I'm drawing Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps with Robert Venditti. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
no, I'm really enjoying the work that you've been doing over there. Your artwork does such a great job of expressing a superhero, like the perfect body type for it, in my opinion, like what a superhero is, what you would picture a superhero to be. So I've always been a huge fan of the way you do the artwork for this, the way you make Hal Jordan look, the way you made Flash look. I just thought it was an incredible piece of work, and to be able to talk to you when I first met you at that Comic-Con was just like in awe. I was like, Ethan Van Sciver knows who I am.
I was in awe of you. It was great to meet you. Yeah, about superhero body types, I get in arguments. I mean, the great thing about our job is that all we do is talk about superheroes all day long. And there used to be all these arguments about, say, what the Flash's body type is. Like, a lot of people thought he had, like, kind of a thin, nimble kind of runner's body. And I was like, this dude's JLA. This dude's Justice League. Are you kidding me? He lifts weights with the guys. I think he's got a pretty good physique on him. And the same with Hal Jordan. All these guys need to be big, broad-shouldered. They need to look like perfect human figures, because they're almost like human gods. They're aspirational. They're what we all wish we could look like, right?
I wish I could look like a superhero. When I started going to the gym more often with a buddy of mine, he was like, well, what's your goals? Like, are you trying to beef up, trying to do this? I'm like, I want to look like I'm a superhero. That's all I want. Like the broad shoulders, I want to have the ripped abs. We still have yet to get there, but that's what my end goal has been.
Yeah, end goal, Batman.
I want classic Batman. Okay, we've already gotten our first question, and this is actually the one that you were asking me about early on. What are our thoughts on Scott Snyder's Justice League, that new one that's coming out? Now, I know I was going through the roster of the change-up that's going to be happening after Metal, so I'm going to finish that because I cut myself off when we were talking preemptively. So the new roster is going to be, and of course CBR is hitting me with the ad blocker. Don't do ad blocker. Got it.
Yeah, CBR, what the heck?
The problem I have with these ad block, like I have ad blockers for websites because they're so junky half the time, with like 9,000 ads. And if you're gonna give me 9,000 ads, you get to deal with it. Like,
well, I think it sounds pretty cool from what I've heard of it. But let's actually go through. Are you going to find like the rosters of the teams? And
yeah, I've got
who's
them
teaming
here,
up with who?
but it's making me wait 5 seconds before it'll tell me what it is.
I got my phone. I should look
But that
it
was
up.
our first super chat, so we're gonna hit it. Okay, here we go. I got it right now.
Okay.
Okay, so it's gonna be broken up. The 4 teams advised by Brainiac, and they're going to be Team Mystery with Martian Manhunter, Sinestro, Superman, Starfire, and Starro. Starro is like, what? Okay. Team Entropy with Lobo, Lex Luthor, Beast Boy, Batman, and Deathstroke. Team Wonder, Raven, Dr. Fate, Zatanna, Wonder Woman, and Etrigan the Demon. And Team Wisdom, Cyborg, shockingly, Harley Quinn, Atom, the Flash, and Robin.
Oh.
Yeah. Those are some... It's a part of a line called No Justice.
Where's Flash? Where's Green Lantern?
Green Lantern's
Where's
not
Batman?
on a team from what I can see. Flash is on Team Wisdom with Cyborg, Harley Quinn, Atom, and Robin.
Okay. Okay.
Why Harley Quinn is on Wisdom blows my mind.
That's very strange. Yeah. So I got to figure out. So what's the crisis? Does it say what the crisis is?
I mean, the only thing they put out is that Brainiac is advising them to build these teams to counter various cosmic level threats on the way to destroy Earth. So these are preset teams to fight whatever this is.
Now, why would they even agree to work with Brainiac anyway? That's a very strange thing. I mean, right away, if Brainiac wants you to do something, you should probably do the opposite.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Unless this is a pseudo spoiler for Metal, and that's how they win.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I like them all. It sounds cool to me. I think I'm most interested in the team with Sinestro on it. That's the one that I would want to do.
Yeah, well, I want to know how they convinced Sinestro to play ball at all.
He would. I think he would. Sinestro has his own kind of agenda. I don't think it's all mustache twirling evil. I think he will. I mean, he has worked with the Green Lantern Corps many, many times. I think if it was a matter of self-preservation, he might get involved, especially if family was involved, like Saranic Natu. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I mean, Justice League of America I thought started out strong, but I feel like there's been no real core storyline. So it'd be interesting to see if they take that idea again of different Justice Leagues and put it into something else. So
Whoa.
That's all I can say about that because we don't know much more about this other than the team setup. His suggestion from Red Samurai was he'd also like to see Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl show up. I do agree with that. Be interested to see.
Hawkgirl.
Yeah, I mean, Hawkgirl, we finally got her to at least be mentioned. Okay, Rhinal Parsaid did another super chat asking you what the limit of Hal Jordan's willpower is. What's the limit of his willpower ring? You know, that one that he made himself?
Well, it's actually connected to him. I mean, Hal Jordan is the only Green Lantern who has ever used his own willpower to forge his own ring. And that is a big deal. Nobody's ever done that before. You're going to see in my next issue of Hal Jordan, which is number 38, it comes out on Valentine's Day. You're going to see what happens when somebody else puts on that ring, the ring that Hal forged.
Wait, what? Okay, if the ring is tied to Hal Jordan, and this is tied into the Zod thing, is Zod gonna take? You can't spoil anything, can you? I mean,
no.
I'm pretty sure he'll get in trouble if you're like, here's what's gonna happen in the next 20 issues.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Again, I mean, you know, Hal, this obviously, I mean, it is made of his willpower, and I think you'll learn in issue number 38 that it is extraordinarily powerful, more so than any other Green Lantern ring that the Guardians may have.
Well, I mean, I've assumed since the start of DC Rebirth that it's the most powerful thing in the world, universe, because of the fact that he blew up Warworld with the thing. Like, he just blew up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a neat idea. And Robin Diddy came to me and said, just redesign the ring. And I just said, I think Hal would actually just kind of pare it down a little bit. I think they're going to actually make models of Hal Jordan's ring eventually for sale. I hope so, because I want one.
I've got the plastic ones that came out with Blackest Night. and I've got the other ones that came out with all the individual the mini lanterns, and then I have the replica life-size lanterns. So I need every form of that ring.
Did they ever make indigo lanterns, like indigo models? That's the one they didn't make. And
I don't think they did.
Because you know what those look like? Those power batteries are on staffs.
Yeah.
Now, how cool would that be to get like an indigo lantern model, like indigo power battery that's just carved out of essentially a piece of rock, and it looks like a walking stick.
That's probably why they didn't make it, though. When I got to, we're gonna get to the next question in a minute, but I got to go in, and they a long time ago promoted a replica 24 karat gold Dr. Fate helmet, and I was so psyched about it, and they decided that it wouldn't sell, so they got rid of it and they pulled it off. When they gave me a tour of the DC offices, the original that I saw in the article is still sitting there.
Oh my God. And they never made that sucks.
It was like a true replica of the Fate helmet.
I wanted to pitch them. I said, I want you guys for Valentine's Day to make a vase, a clear vase with vines crawling all over it, and like poison ivy at the bottom, like tangling up Batman, and then you put roses in it and give it to your sweetheart for Valentine's Day.
That would be awesome. Cool? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the next comment we got, I think it's more of a comment, but if you want to follow up on this, that'd be cool. Ryan Radford says that Saint Walker is the best lantern ever.
Well, thanks. I'll tell you where he came from. I mean, I was sitting in an airport, and Jeff and I were working it all out. I mean, and I just thought the Blue Lanterns are hope. They're the opposite of these scary kind of Sinestro Corps villains that all look like, fear-mongering terrorists. So whatever Blue Lanterns look like, they have to look peaceful and calm and serene. And I started thinking about dolphins. And so, yeah, I was thinking, what is the most peaceful animal? So I designed this kind of dolphin alien man, like based around dolphins. And then I put these kind of bioluminescent lights all over his face. And I handed it off. I turned it in. I didn't know he was going to be called Saint Walker. I didn't know he was going to be kind of the head of the Blue Lantern Corps. That was all Jeff that did that. And I think Jeff named him Saint Walker after a real person, a fan. Jeff tends to do that. Jeff will, assign names out based on people he knows. My son, by the way, is named Hunter Zolman. So that's where Hunter Zolman Zoom came from.
That's pretty epic. That is like epic.
So,
do you ever look at your son and just like, don't turn evil? Don't.
Like, he doesn't really understand. Like, people say, like, he goes, hey, I'm Hunter Zolman Van Sciver, and people think he's joking because the character named after him is way more famous than he is, obviously. Right. So he thinks that's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, Saint Walker turned out to be really cool. I didn't give him the little thing on the back of his head. That was Ivan Rice. He added that, and thank God he did. That was a really neat idea. Good addition.
We're going to move over to a couple of just other generic questions real quick, and then we'll go back to the next super chat, though. But we have quite a few people just saying they love your artwork. They love having you do the stories. The OK channel says that dolphins are jerks. You were wrong about that.
I never met one. I don't know.
Switchpoint that wants to know. Now, I know we have variations on a Gray Lantern. We have the Phantom Lantern, and we have what Tom King did to Kyle Rayner. That could be a Gray Lantern, and we have that brief period where he became a Gray Lantern. But if you could make a Gray Lantern, what would you make the power?
Okay. Let's see. So he's gray. So I would immediately think about black and white TV. I would think about the past. They would be time traveling lanterns. I'm spitballing here.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be sick though, just to have a lantern with the power over time.
Yeah, they're like, we're from the past, and even when they put on their rings, I'd have them go staticky, like their costumes would turn staticky, like black and white TV used to. And yeah, they would be time traveling lanterns. Let's do it. Let's do the Gray Lantern Corps.
Okay, we'll make it up. I'm sure DC won't mind. Alejandro Hinojosa is asking, and I know you can't answer this, but I got to ask for the sake of the viewers and everyone asking, do you know anything on the Three Jokers?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Can you spill the beans right here on my channel?
No, I would be executed. Yeah, I know, but that's very, very exciting. I'm glad that's a thing. Yeah, you guys are gonna love it.
Okay, so Johnny Go Blue says that the roster for the new Justice League, whatever they're being called, whatever they are, is sounds great. But where's Dre? I don't know who Dre is.
Is that Dre over there behind you? Hey, is that Dre?
Yeah, maybe.
That's Dre.
Yeah, Dre. Dre, you over here?
That's an inside joke.
Is it?
That's
okay, as long as you know what it is. Super chat, I will always read, even if I don't know what it means.
Do you want to know what it is? Do you want to know the joke? All right, so there's an issue with Falcon where Falcon and his partner, I don't know who it is, they see in the distance, they're chasing this villain, and in the art in this issue, there's a building, and really far away, there's a tiny little silhouette of a man standing on it, and Falcon says, "Yo, is that Dre?" And then that's
and that's it?
like
That's the whole thing?
So it's become kind of an internet kind of meme.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know it. James Call X says, if you were given a book with Elongated Man and Sue leading street level hero teams, who would you have on it? And the story would the stories be more lighter toned? He didn't put a question mark on there, but I think that's what he was asking.
They're each leading their own team, or just one team street level?
They're leading their own street level.
Oh, cool. Well, I'd love to put the question on there. I think that would be cool. I would put the Creeper on there.
You're making one of those like obscure teams.
Yeah.
It'll never sell, but it'll have the most incredible 6-issue miniseries.
Yeah. And then but you know what I would do is I would also put Barry Allen and the Flash on it, since they are kind of tied together in Silver Age history. So I'd probably put the Flash on there, and then I'd put like the question, because he's just tied to mystery.
Right.
And maybe maybe Nightwing, another detective kind of guy. Yeah.
Nightwing's got some good runs and bad runs. Like sometimes you're like, this is great. Sometimes you're like, I think I'll stop reading Nightwing for a little while.
Yeah, he's never been my favorite character, but I like him. I would work on him. I would want him.
Okay, so the next question, and this is a good one. I like this one a lot. If you could do any book, what would you want to do?
All right, if I could do any book, and can I go on about this?
Yeah.
So, all right, I want to do Plastic Man. I want to do Plastic Man so bad. And let me tell you,
record, I didn't care at all about Plastic Man until his recent stuff that he like Injustice 2, the comic series, has made Plastic Man so incredible, and now he's popping up at DC Metal, and I'm like, I want Plastic Man.
Yes. Okay. Let me pitch Plastic Man to you guys. Let me tell you the Plastic Man story. All right, and you tell me if you like this. Now, first of all, you might not know this, but Plastic Man, his alter ID is Eel O'Brien. He's an Irish hoodlum, okay, and he's from the mean streets of Gotham. So he's already tied to Batman. He knows all of the criminals in Gotham because he's in the criminal underworld. That's who he is. So one day, this leader of the mob that belongs to tells him he's got to go kill somebody, and the person he's got to go kill with his friends is one of his friends, okay, his personal friends. So instead of killing him, he goes to him and he says, "Get out of town." Tips him off. So he comes back to his boss and says, "Hey, I couldn't do it." And boss is like, "Well, you suck." Sends him out on another job with these two guys at the same Ace chemical factory that made the Joker in Gotham. Okay, they're all tied together. That chemical factory with that weird acid that seems to flow through Gotham City that turns people green, that melts half of their face off. The Two-Face and the Joker. The same stuff that made Plastic Man. So he doesn't know it, but he's there to rob this chemical factory. His two buddies are there to kill him. So they shoot him, and bullets go through the acid, spill on his body. The security comes, scares the guys away. He wakes up alive. He's still alive. He goes to, he's brought back to life by this guy from the Catholic Church that he grew up with. He learns the error of his ways, and he decides that he is going to come back as Eel O'Brien. His alter ID is Plastic Man, working for the FBI. So this way, he is going to be able to sell out his friends in the mob as Plastic Man. And nobody's going to know that. So he changes his face and all this stuff. So basically, Plastic Man is a JLA member because he is well aware of the underworld. He knows Two-Face. He knows where Two-Face is. He knows what the Penguin's up to. He associates with all these people. And he uses his alter ID of Plastic Man to move his underworld enemies out of the way. So it's like that's how he rises up in the ranks, and eventually he just becomes like a Godfather mob lord.
Would you keep him comical though? Like just like the slightly insane?
I don't think he is slightly insane. You know who I think he is? If he were going to be in a movie, he'd be played by Ray Liotta.
I could see that.
That's Plastic Man to me. That's Eel O'Brien to me. He might pretend to be insane, but you know who he really is? He's just the ultimate actor. Plastic Man is a role.
I like how they're treating him in Injustice too, because he is like just a little over the top. Like, you're a guy made of plastic. He made a comment that he was the half of a caterpillar for like 3 days, and you're just like, yeah, I could see that. I could see you just being bored, and you're just half of a caterpillar for 3 days.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and the truth is, whatever this acid is, what did it do to the Joker? It made him a little bit loopy. Let's be honest. What did it do to Two-Face? It made him a little bit crazy. So apparently, it did have some deleterious effects on, Plastic Man's mind. But I want to know what that acid is. I want to know where it came from. I want to know who made it.
They should like double it around with the metal stuff or something like that. Like, it's not actually, it's like a variation of the Dynesium that heals everyone, and that's why the Joker is just like a crazy person or something like that. Would be insane. Just double it around.
This is the thing about working at DC. There's so many stories. If you just ask questions about every little aspect of every origin story of these characters, stories grow, and that's, stories grow from those little tidbits. It's fun.
Okay, so here's the next question for you, because you gave me one of your memes. So in a recent episode of the RMBE, which is an award-winning podcast that has won no awards, right here at Comicstorian every Saturday. So you know the image of Thanos in the MCU? The way he's just no armor, just a big purple guy with a scrawny chin. Looks like he's coming in with the rings. So we started a thing of Dion. Like, his real name is because we know his real name was supposed to be Dion, but what if he was like Dion? Like, Dion's here to get back his money. You don't mess with Dion. Would you be willing to draw Dion, gangster Thanos, with like the gold chain and it just says Dion across it?
That's what I do for a living. I'd be happy to do that for you guys, just for your own.
We'll have an Ethan Van Sciver, Dion, just gangster Thanos. Okay, you guys happy? I asked him.
Draw Dion Thanos. Happy to. I'll post it in Twitter.
I just want you all to know, you just got me to ask a professional artist who has been doing this for years and some of the most incredible stories ever, if he would draw gangster Thanos, okay?
And he said yes.
Yeah. So. They're saying you can't forget about the corn rolls either. He's got corn rolls.
He does?
Apparently in our version.
I got to see him. I got to see what this guy looks like. He sounds awesome.
All right, so we got another $10 super chat. It is, what are your thoughts on Bruce Timm's animated universe, and has it influenced you as a creator at all? Do you think that we'll see more influences from him in the future, like we're seeing in the Batman The White Knight storyline?
Wow. I mean, that was something in and of itself. And, I grew up with the Super Friends. I'm a lot older than probably a lot of the people who are watching, but I know a lot of you grew up and found DC Comics and found Batman through that animated series. And that animated series is way better than the Super Friends. Just on the fact that it, Harley Quinn came from it alone means that it's just going to be an, iconic run of Batman forever. It's going to live in superhero lore and history forever. Yeah. My favorite is, I think it's season 5, where they revamp Batgirl. And, there's this Christmas episode with Batgirl and Harley Quinn, I think. And they go shopping and they fight Clayface. Am I remembering this right? But whatever it was.
I was younger those days.
Yeah.
I wasn't too young. I think I was like 16, 17 maybe. I don't know. How old was I? That was like 95, wasn't it?
No, it was 98.
Okay,
I think it was
so
97
I was
or 98.
14. So
you were just the right age for that.
Right, so I was at the age where I was enjoying it, but I was also discovering girls. So I kind of...
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. Like, when did you discover comic books? When was your first comic book?
So when I was a kid, like probably like 4, 5, 6, my dad got a story called Superman Time and Time Again. And I don't remember it all. I just remember it was a story about Superman going through time and punching dinosaurs. And I really enjoyed it. I don't remember anything more about it. I've actually bought it since then and just not reread it because I don't want to tarnish the memory that I have of that it's just Superman punching dinosaurs.
That sounds awesome.
Right, and I remember that's what got me into them. And then he used to give me a weekly allowance of $5 to go to my local comic book store, and I would go buy comic books around that. This is the 90s, so I was like all about Azrael, you know, his Nightfall Batman, Spider-Man 2099. Like I was the edgelord kid. I was really edgy. Like, oh, I want those superheroes that'll kill. This would be so cool. You know?
Yeah, that was the dark. That whole era was dark and cool, man. Punisher, did you like that too? You're mostly a DC guy, it sounds like.
Yeah, no. Well, my dad's a DC fan, so like I normally go with whoever's making the best stories of the time because I like stories. You know, I mean, everyone like right now, I'm not a huge fan of what Marvel's putting out, but in the flip side of it, when DC did DCU, I wasn't siding with that because like there was like 2 stories in DCU I was on board with. But my dad is a DC fan. So, like, that's where a lot of the DC fandoms come out of, because my dad is a DC fan. He'll hit me up about Superman and Batman and all that kind of stuff. But it was the one that got me really attached to comic books was the storyline Armageddon 2001. Do you remember Wave Rider?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, my dad would send me to go get comics, but I didn't know what comics were. I'd get random issues of what I felt like. I had $5, right? And what I would do is he got the full story for Armageddon, and it was a story about Wave Rider, and this character would go back in time where he was from the future, and the future was a dystopian future where we lost it to a villain. And he would go back in time, and back in time, he would touch a superhero and could see their future. And the whole idea was to see who would become the big villain. And it was supposed to be someone super important, but it got leaked. So at the last second, they changed it to Hawk. And so like the whole story just didn't matter. But it was that story that got me into comics, and then it was the Clone Saga that got me out of comics.
Why did Clone Saga get you out? You found it like
it was just too convoluted for like I was young, I had a lot of other things going on, couldn't keep up with it, and every time I'd pick up an issue, somebody else was Peter Parker. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm into comics anymore, and I just kind of moved on until it wasn't until I joined the army. So Clone Saga kind of kicked me out of comic books for a little while. When I joined the army, we had a comic book shop nearby, and when you first join the army, you just have a ton of money and nothing to spend it on. So it was like, I'll go read comics, and that's how I got back into comics. And then while I was overseas for Iraq is when Blackest Night came out. And Blackest Night, like, solidified, like, okay, I dig like, I'm fully in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it was because I only read Batman up to Blackest Night, and then Blackest Night kind of, like, locked me in.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
That was great to hear.
Oh, you know,
I get people.
Blackest Night was incredible.
Yeah, people come up to me and say that all the time. They're like, you know, I stepped away from comics for a little bit, but like the Green Lantern Rebirth or Sinestro Corps or Blackest Night got me right back in again. And it's just like, then they'll show me tattoos of Green Lantern symbols and everything.
Have you seen mine?
Symbols. Let me see. Oh, damn, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have the whole league right here. It's kind of hard. Here, we'll just do this. There.
You got the whole league, yeah. I got little frogs. I don't know if you can see. I got little frogs on my arm, and the frogs there's the Sinestro Corps symbol, and there is the Blue Lantern symbol on their bellies.
That's show it one more time. I had the cameras alternated, so I'm gonna show our tattoos again real quick because mine was in the corner and yours was in there.
Can you see it? Okay, so here's a frog, and he's got the Sinestro Corps symbol. This is very important to me because that was the first symbol I created, and then there's the Blue Lantern symbol on this frog.
That's awesome. I love that. And here, for those guys who couldn't see mine because I was dumb and didn't put the camera on it, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I have I also have a red hood one right here.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, and then the bomb and the dice actually for my tour in Iraq, I got blown up 11. I was near 11 explosions total. So I put the bomb there to represent explosions, and the dice would represent luck. I was like, I survived.
Yeah.
I also have this Batman right here.
Who drew that Batman? Where's that from?
Honestly, I don't know. So that it's taken from a piece that is well known. I know that. So long story short, if we're gonna have a story time for tattoos, and I see all the super chats, I'm going to get to them. Do not fret. No super chat will go unanswered. But back when I was doing the tattoo thing, and so when I first got my first tattoo, it was the Raven over here, and then I got the bomb, and then my wife wanted to get these, so we got this instead of a wedding ring. We have each other's initials on our wrist.
Oh, how about that?
And our tattoo artist was like, "Well, I have to charge you the chair fee. Have to do it, okay?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, that's kind of expensive for 2 little symbols." And he's like, "Pick a tattoo that'll fit." Me being a young guy in the military is like, I'll take the monster, the drink, the monster symbol, and had it tattooed to my arm.
Yeah. Sweet. Cheers.
So yeah, exactly. So as years have gone on, and when I was getting all this work done on this arm, I was at the artist, and I'm like, find me anything superhero related that will cover that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what the Batman came out of, and so now I technically have 3 Batman symbols running up my arm, but whatever. I love it.
Batman's good. Batman must be my favorite, and it's like, it's so boring to say so because Batman is everybody's favorite, but like, he really is. I mean, I'll watch anything, I'll read anything Batman. It's all going to be good. What do you think of Gotham?
I don't like it. I did like the villain season. My wife is in love with it though. She watches every episode.
Cool. I like that kid, man. He's already Batman.
Do you think he's Batman? I don't like Batboy, which is what he kind of is right now.
Yeah. But I mean, that's Bruce Wayne. He's so cold and calculating and arrogant. Like, I didn't like the kid from the Batman Begins series. He was too much of a wimp. Like, he'd never grow up to be Batman.
Yeah.
You know, he's so crying all the time. He's whiny. This kid is hard and cold, and he's going to grow up to be Batman.
I can see that. Okay, a couple more off Super Chat, then we'll go back to Super Chat. DNC and Comicstorian are both Marines. No, I know DNC was a Marine. I am from the Army. And Army for life, 10 times better than Marines. Suck it. Anyway. Anybody who asks, there's always like a military rivalry. Everyone works together, though. It's always for fun. And then, okay, I'll ask this for you, Christopher Gonzalez. Do you like Marvel or DC more?
Do I like Marvel or DC more? I like DC more. But I love Marvel's characters an awful lot. If you look behind me, I mean, my comic rack is mostly Marvel.
Right.
Because this is stuff I grew up with. So it's like I need all my John Byrne X-Men, my Jack Kirby X-Men. I need all my Jack Kirby Fantastic Four books.
See, I could never get into Fantastic Four. I could never get into them in that level.
Really? Oh, yeah. The early stuff is so good. I mean, the Jack Kirby and Stan Lee stuff is worth getting into. I've got every issue 14 through 40 and then a bunch of assorted ones. Here's number 7.
Nice.
And I'm going to get 1 through 40 complete. That's
See,
my goal.
I collect a lot of classic Flash. I'll get like early Barry Allen. I'll get early Wally West and stuff like that.
Yeah. I've got a few of those too.
So, okay, moving on to the next Super Chat. And for the record, Stephen Harris says Air Force is the best and you're wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, it's Hal
Comic
Jordan.
Enthusiast says... Oh, no, we got a whole bunch in a minute there. Okay, we're going to have to go through this. Who would... the Batman 9628 would like to know who would win, Hal Jordan, Sinestro, or Dion?
Who would win? It's got to be Dion, it sounds like. Dion, well, it depends. I mean, I think I would make Dion badass enough to be able to beat all of them, and that's going to be my goal.
Okay, if you can make a badass Dion sketch, we're going to have to make it like a shirt. The Dion shirt.
Okay, absolutely. We should do a Dion giveaway somehow.
We'll do that. Yeah. Well, if once the sketch is done, we'll do a full giveaway. You know, and I have seen some questions asking for tips on drawing. That is what he does on his channel primarily, right? You show up.
Yeah, my channel is called Comic Artist Pro Secrets.
Yep, I have the link down below actually, right here. It's right beneath.
Okay, good. Yeah, today we went over 3-point perspective. I showed people how to draw Batman and the Joker. The Joker's kind of in an alley looking up at Batman on top of a building, and I showed you how to draw it in 3-point perspective. We've done 2-point perspective, we've done 1-point perspective, we've discussed horizon lines, and then I give general kind of, it's for beginners, it's for people who don't usually draw. How to draw Venom, how to draw Wonder Woman, how to draw Batman, how to draw Green Lantern, how to draw Flash. It's all there. I update it every single day with a new video, and absolutely go over there and subscribe right now.
Sorry, one of the super chats says I missed it. If Red Samurai, if you're talking about the Bruce Timm one, I did answer that. We did go over the Bruce Timm one.
I thought we did, yeah.
Yeah, no, we did the Bruce Timm question, and then there's the Batman. Oh no, your next one's up next, Red Samurai. Don't worry. Yeah, no, but that's what he does. Sorry, that confused me. I was trying to double check to make sure we didn't skip anybody who paid for a super chat. So.
Absolutely.
That is exactly what he does in this channel, though, and that's why I love going to his channel. And if you want to support his channel, click the link down below. He'll show you how to draw everything you guys want to draw. He'll talk about his opinions on comics, all kinds of stuff going on over there. It's definitely one of my favorite channels that are starting up, and why I'm doing this, to try and help people get their channels up and rolling so that YouTube can stop dicking people over.
Oh,
Taking a stab at him. And for whoever said 11 Bravo is the real Army, everything else is support, you are 100% correct. I was 11 Bravo for 4.5 years before going medical, which was support.
Thank you for your service, for real. Thank you for your service. That's a big deal. Serving your country.
You know, it's funny because I did that for grand total. It was just over 9 years. I always say 10 years just to round up because it's so much easier than having this explanation. And for the entire time, plus the 5 years after that I've now been out, I still don't know what to say when people say that. Thank you for your service. It's like, I just say thank you. Like, it just feels weird you saying thank you and me going, thank you for thanking me. Like,
yeah, I mean, just say you're welcome. It's like, it's a weird thing because it's like, I'm often afraid. I see people in uniform and I just want to say thank you. You're so brave. Thank you for what you do. And it's like, I'm afraid that you come off as kind of, I don't know, like, inappropriate, but it's like it's such a big thing to risk your life in service of the country and people's freedom. So you deserve to be thanked every day, and just say you're welcome to people, I guess.
I mean, I normally say you're welcome, or I say thank you for thanking, you know.
Yeah.
I said it always feels awkward. It's just not how you normally have a normal conversation. So Red Samurai's question is, what are your thoughts on the Justice League Unlimited and their depiction of Jon Stewart? Would love to see someone do Jon for what you and Jon's did for Hal Jordan. I'll agree with this. I feel like Jon Stewart does not get a lot of attention.
I agree, but I feel like Jeff did a really, really good depiction of Jon Stewart in Green Lantern Rebirth and throughout his run. I remember first getting the script and deciding for myself who these guys were, and I just thought Jon Stewart was just a man of incredible dignity and pose. Also a Marine sniper, I think sharpshooter is what Jon Stewart was. So he's just a man who's seen a lot, he's done a lot, but he is elegant and composed and super smart, and I enjoyed drawing him. Does he need to get his own book? I wish. Here's what I would like in my dream of dreams. I would like a Jon Stewart Green Lantern Corps book, and maybe a Hal Jordan solo book. And then a Guy Gardner book.
Well, that's kind of what we had at the New 52, isn't it? We had like, I think at the New 52 it was a Hal Jordan book, Kyle Rayner book, and then a John Guy shared book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we had.
You're right.
It did really good. I liked it, but.
Well, listen, all these things, I mean, DC's listening to you, and I mean, I'm listening to you too, and I can say, hey, guys, I think we should do a Jon Stewart solo book, or a Jon Stewart leading a team, like his own little mini corps kind of thing, where they're deep space doing something by the source wall, something really cool like that. But people have to buy it. That's what it's about, you know. We need to support. We need to buy these comics.
That's what I've always said. If you don't like a comic, you don't buy it. You have to support the comics you want. That's why even if I like the idea of a comic book and I'm not reading it, I'll still buy the book because I want this comic to succeed. So I'm gonna buy this book. I'll get to it eventually. You know, I'll sit there with like 30 issues and go, okay, crap.
Buy 2 copies and give one to a friend, and then just, I mean, seriously, write to DC Comics on Twitter. You can just add them and say, this is what I want, and if enough people ask for it, they'll get it.
Yeah.
And he was great in Justice League Unlimited. Absolutely great.
Yeah. No, I liked what they did with him in that. I thought it was a really good depiction of him. Okay, so
Colin, I want to give him a goatee, and what do you think of that? Like, I'm going to give him a beard. Like Jon Stewart.
I could see a beard. Like, are we talking like a cleaned up beard, or he just kind of lets it go a little, like?
Oh no, cleaned up, tight.
Okay.
I mean, just yeah. I had a couple sketches like that, and I started to think about doing it. I was gonna, I said I'm gonna give Jon Stewart a beard in Fracture, which is the last big story arc that I told on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, and I'm gonna show it growing in issue to issue. So it's like you'll see him get stubble in one issue, and then by the last issue it'll be there. So it's not any kind of surprise. You watched him grow his beard, and they said go do it, and then I chickened out.
That would have been hilarious. I think it would have been funnier if instead of like progressively showing it, you just let it pop in on the last issue, like
like boom, take it away, next artist.
Yeah,
you got to draw him.
No, he's got that's it. He's got the beard. You got to deal with it.
I think it was cool. I don't know, and maybe shave his head, maybe make him bald, because he wasn't he in one of the animated series? Was Jon Stewart like bald?
I think Unlimited he was, or close to it. I know in the Beyond version of him he was.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a little
confusing.
Cool. Colin Shaw would like to know if you could team up with someone from DC, if you could team up someone from DC with someone from Marvel, who would it be? He would choose Nightwing with Spider-Man. So it's a superhero team.
Oh yeah, that's great. I would choose let's see, Atrocitus and the Hulk.
Oh, that would be insane.
I would have Atrocitus give a Red Lantern ring to Bruce Banner, and then just tear the whole planet apart.
That's what would happen.
Yeah.
Your story would be one issue and done.
Because the two would be fueling each other. Can you imagine the Hulk gets stronger the more angry he gets, and like that anger would be going into the ring and making him more powerful, even more powerful. It would be just an endless engine of like rage and power, and yeah, it'd be great.
I would actually team up if I was going to do that. I would team up Flash with Quicksilver to finally have the two of them do something.
Yeah, but the Flash is so much faster than Quicksilver, isn't he?
No, he is. I mean, Flash outruns death. Quicksilver has a cap on his powers. So
yeah,
I love those arguments. They always end with Flash wins. I mean, like, I've never seen one of those arguments where they're like, "Here's why Quicksilver would win." It never happens.
Because he trips him. I mean, that's otherwise, yeah, Flash is gonna win.
Okay, so not gonna read that one, comic enthusiast. Basically, he had an idea for Brown Lanterns.
I know comic enthusiasts.
Yeah, he's on this channel too. I've seen him.
Okay.
Corey Morgan donated $50 to ask this question to you. So I don't know how much of it you can answer. This is entirely on you. Any thoughts on future Lantern New God combination stories?
Wow, that would be fantastic. Well, we've done quite a few Green Lantern New Gods crossovers. I would really still like to do some more stuff with Darkseid. And again, I mean, there's endless possibilities for Darkseid, and the rings and the emotional spectrum. Which, by the way, if you go on my channel, I go into a big spiel about why it's not the emotional spectrum, it's the motivational spectrum. Okay, because like these things are not emotions; they are motivations. They're a reason to do something. Like avarice and rage and love and compassion, fear, hope. And then courage, which is willpower, are reasons why you can make your ring work. Like if you drive them through, they're not really emotional. But yeah, if you gave Darkseid, I'd give Darkseid. What do they think? Like what ring should Darkseid get? Yellow.
Darkseid got a ring? Could you? I could see him getting stuck with compassion. You just get like a docile Darkseid. He just pops. You just got Darkseid, boom tube into Earth, looks at Superman, and he's like, knock.
That would be terrific. Yeah, I would like to do that. I would like to do some of the Kirby characters and then mash them up with rings, and that's the whole reason. When Jeff and I created all this stuff, we're like, we have just unleashed a whole universe of possible like mashup characters. So yeah, and we knew that fans would be drawing them. The most fun for me is when I go to cons and people ask me to mash up Marvel characters with rings. That is the best. Wolverine, Red Lantern Wolverine is a big popular one. I've drawn him 100 times.
Oh,
and
yeah. He'd be great. Red Lantern Wolverine would be sick. This actually goes up to the next question from Disposed Ash. He wanted to know if you could give Plastic Man a Lantern Corps, what would it be?
Plastic Man, like if he were joining a Corps, he would be... Shoot, where does he fit in? I mean, he's almost an Orange Lantern in a way, I would say.
I could see that.
I mean, his motivations as a mobster are certainly avarice. So, I would say Orange. And then you have to beat up Larfleeze.
And I got an off super chat question. Ethan, do you think it's possible for a story where Hal Jordan becomes powerful enough to enter the Source Wall, going through it? And if so or not, why wouldn't he be able to?
Right now there's a crack in the Source Wall.
Is that still happening?
Well, it's still there. Where did it go, right?
Well, I guess that's true, yeah. It's just kind of there at the moment.
And I have a whole idea about what's on the other side, too. And we've been talking about it. I mean, yeah. I won't tell you. But
I was going to say, because I've always assumed that like everyone likes to wonder what's on the other side of the Source Wall. My assumption is that is a question we will never get a true answer to. Because the mystery of what's on the other side of the Source Wall, I find more intriguing than knowing what's on the other side of the Source Wall. You know, it's like the X-Files. The X-Files was great until we knew what was going on. Then it sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, once you knew, it was kind of a letdown, I have to admit. Seasons 8 and 9. But no, I mean, if you knew it was on the other side of the source wall, it would make sense. Like a lot of stuff would make sense. And we talked about it. We had a big summit meeting, me and Sam Humphries and the Green Lantern editors, and we talked about doing this. And yeah, I mean, we still might
Revealed the source wall finally? I'll be excited if that happens finally.
What's on the other side? Absolutely.
I mean, I'll probably be disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Whatever's on the other side will not live up to the headcanon that I've made for the source wall.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Okay, now you've just given me a tall claim that you're going to live up to my headcanon for the source wall.
Yeah. It's that cool. And it was just something that I threw out, and they went, oh, yeah. Could Hal do it? Yeah, Hal could do anything. I mean, Hal has that kind of willpower and courage. He can make his ring do anything. Sure.
Okay. Since we're talking about the source wall, I got a couple more super chats here to go through, but I did see a question. Do you think that Superboy Prime is going to come back?
Oh, I hope not. It may be. I don't know. He's not my favorite, but yeah.
I like the idea of him. My complaint with Superboy Prime and why I don't like talking about him or including him in things is he's so convoluted in this day and age.
Oh, yeah. To me, he's just so mopey. Like, he's just such an emo kind of, I don't know. He's a kid and he's a teenager, but,
Okay, so the next day is, okay. Besides constructs, how else would you like to have the Lanterns use their powers? Like such as he's voting Kyle Rayner using Street Fighter moves and John using Ghost Marines.
That sounds cool. Absolutely. I'll go with that. I dig it.
I know. I'm sorry, Jam Call, but I can't think of anything either. I mean, like, what would you put into that?
That's what they do. I mean, that's what their rings do. Pretty much whatever they want. And so, kind of, in answer to the question before that, like, could Hal go through the source wall? If he wanted it badly enough, he could. And the answer, to every question, could Hal Jordan beat up Superman? If he wanted it badly, he could beat up Superman. It's all about, his ring has no upper limit to it.
Right.
It's all about his willpower and what the courage and the, kind of effort that he puts into it. And then he could do absolutely anything. But there's a limit. I mean, he's just a human being. So how willful is Hal Jordan? He could do anything if he wanted it.
I assume pretty willful.
Yeah.
I just saw a fun one I wanted to ask before we go to the next one. Oh, do you, in your opinion, is the Marvel multiverse on the other side of that source wall?
Now that would be great.
Marvel's is on the other side of the wall.
Absolutely. The Marvel universe is on the other side of the source wall. Oh my God. I got to think about that for a little while.
Right, just the ideas that could come out of
that idea.
Okay,
well, yeah,
ABC Kevin has given a super chat. What do you think it would take to bring an animated character to the DC universe? Here's still hoping for Red X and the Teen Titans show to appear in the comics someday.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Well, look, it happened with Harley Quinn. I mean, a lot of people want Razor from the Red Lantern Corps and from the Green Lantern animated show to show up. And I think there's a character named Anya, who's a Green Lantern. I might be.
No, you got it right. I think the name might be slightly off. But Razor is the Red Lantern who didn't want to be a Red Lantern and was learning to get. That series was great. I love that series. But okay. Anya, I think might have been her name. She was the Green Lantern's computer system who became sentient.
Right.
That was what it was.
I've had a lot of people ask, like, could they be in the comics? Yeah, I guess they could. I mean, we would just have to put them in there.
I think the problem with that was just that the series was ended. I mean, so abruptly. It didn't get as nearly as critically acclaimed as like Justice League Unlimited or something like that.
And it's so good too. I mean, I wish the movie was exactly like that.
Aya, that was it. Yeah, Aya, wasn't Anya.
Aya. Okay, Aya.
Close enough though.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. I would love. When I saw the series, I assumed Razor must have existed somewhere, and this is this is back when I was just a straight comic fan, so I just assumed Razor must have existed. I was a little disappointed when I found out he didn't.
He's a great character. I mean, he's really great. He should exist.
Okay, Greg Nash asks if you could make a new Lantern, what would it be? Something like Envy or the other 7 Deadly Sins. A new Green Lantern that is based on Envy would be awesome.
Well, what he's just said is pretty good. I mean, we could do a whole negative. This is a great idea. Is to just do the seven deadly sins, but do the underside of the rainbow.
Like,
So,
oh, the dark multiverse of the spectrum.
yeah. All that stuff's great. You know, it's like, hey, you flip it inside out. This is the negative emotional spectrum, and then you introduce the seven deadly sins instead of the seven. So what are the seven deadly sins?
Oh, do you have me look that up? I haven't looked at that since like literature class.
Yeah. There's wrath, gluttony. Ooh, there could be a big fat that'd be so cool.
Lust. So you'd have to have like just a sexually driven How do we get that? I want a sexually driven lantern.
I mean, honestly, it's a great idea. And the fact that there are seven of them and, oh, wow.
Gluttony, you had that one right. So that would be your orange, just eating everything or whatever. Make it like a planet. Like a Mogo style planet, the evil one, just absorbing other planets.
Wait a second. So is avarice one of them too? I mean, because avarice, I think it is.
Greed, yeah. I mean,
greed. So, I mean, clearly, Larfleeze opens up and reveals, because avarice would be right in the center. That's what we would do. We would say avarice is the opposite of the green, so it'd be right in the middle of the. And Larfleeze opens up this.
Here would be the funny one, though. Here'd be the funny one. Sloth. You just have a comical core of really slow people. Can you imagine, like, you have proven that you are extremely lazy and you can't even get off your couch to get potato chips. Welcome to the sloth core.
Yeah. I dig it. I think it would be great. In the bizarre.
I'm just picturing the sloth core. You know, like the phone rings and you don't want to get up and go answer it, so you just let the machine pick it up. You get pulled into the sloth core.
Oh my God, fantastic! Oh, I'll tell you, your viewers are bright.
They are. They're a lot. I have the smartest comic book viewers ever. That's why you guys need to go. If you want to learn how to draw and be as amazing as Ethan, go to his channel. Check it out.
I need you guys. You guys have great ideas.
I mean, Ethan has seen all sides of the comic book spectrum, and I told him, our fans, me and Rob's fans, our fans are like the best fans out there. They just comic fans who just want to know about comics. So go check out Ethan.
That's what we need more of. Yeah, it's like, come over here and let's talk about what's really good. I mean, what really matters, comics.
Fury Cat says that they would be the commander of the Sloth Corps. All right, Corey Morgan is asking, Lucifer Morningstar gets a lantern ring. Which corps and why? That's Lucifer from... Isn't that the
I don't know that name. Is that the Lucifer Vertigo series?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's... I don't follow that one that well. Pretty sure it's just...
It's a fallen angel. Disobedient.
Yeah, that is the Lucifer from that series. Yeah.
Okay, so what would that be? Will. Believe it or not, he'd be a Green Lantern. Sorry to say. He's willful and disobedient.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of villains... He goes his own way. A lot of villains that either fall into fear, Sinestro Corps, or willpower. And I think that's why the character of Sinestro is so great, because he was a Green Lantern full of will to push what he wanted out there. But
well, what people also have to understand is that there's not really any moral judgment by the Guardians of all people. I mean, the Guardians are just, not horrible really very human. And there's they are horrible people. So there's not really any moral judgment. It's just a question of, will you follow the rules? In which case Lucifer might not. And can you work the ring? And Lucifer could. So I think he would be a Green Lantern that would kind of go the same way as Sinestro. I think he would.
Right. Decides eventually that the core aspect is what's holding him back and go to the Sinestro side.
Yeah. But he'd want to lead something. I think he'd want to lead a corps somehow. So he would definitely become, again, he'd fall from the ranks and he would do something bad. Yeah. It's a good idea. It's a good question.
Here's a good question that I'm taking this off of Captain Lightstreak asked, why isn't Scarecrow in the Sinestro Corps? I'm a little bit curious, why have some of those outlying lantern people, do you know the answer as to why they never got the ring again? Lex with greed, Flash with hope, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, You would have to ask Jeff that. I mean, I would think that ordinarily most of these people would renounce their rings because belonging to a corps isn't necessarily what they want to do. I mean, they're all kind of individually ambitious, and unless there was some gigantic crisis and a need to join up with a club, Scarecrow doesn't want to belong to. He doesn't want to like be subservient to Sinestro. You know, it's like you know, and Lex Luthor might enjoy the Orange Lantern ring for a little while, but then he's got his own brain, his own ambition, his own reasons for doing what he wants to do. So I don't think that any of them would hang on to those rings for very long. But I think Scarecrow's the closest. Scarecrow really should be a Sinestro Corps villain. I said this before, and I'll say this again.
Didn't he get it back at one point? Yeah, in Sam Humphrey's Green Lantern's line. There was like a 2-issue arc where Batman had to deal with. That's why Simon Baz doesn't have the gun anymore. That was the whole reasoning.
Oh, I didn't read it. I got to go back and read that. Yeah, I think the Shark should get a Sinestro Corps ring. Remember the Shark from Green Lantern number 4 and 5 that I did? His name's Karshan. He lives in the ocean and right off the coast of Coast City. He lives in that ocean. He's super smart. He's telepathic, and he smells fear. He feeds on fear. I mean, that's his whole characterization, is that, you know, he feeds on fear. I'd give him that Yellow Lantern ring, and I'd make him able to fly around the orbit Earth and scare Russian astronauts. You know? And like, I don't know. I think he would be really cool swimming in space.
Now I'm just picturing this, a shark guy just swimming around in space.
Yeah. Just scaring people and eating things. I mean, all he wants to do is eat. So he'd eat, you know, he'd eat Sinestro Corps guy or Green Lanterns. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be fun.
All right. Silvery Cricket wants to know, have you ever been asked to draw something and just said, nope, it's not going to happen?
Yeah, sure. Sure, all the time. I mean, people have strange requests, but not only that, there are books that you get offered, projects that you get offered that you just go, that's just not for me. I'm not going to do that. And that does happen, and you politely decline.
Are you free to mention any books that you've declined? Or you'd rather not?
I would rather not, because I think it would be rude. I will say that I was offered, at one point they wanted me to do Teen Titans, and I said, I'd rather do Green Lantern. And that was the whole reason. It's not that I don't want to draw Teen Titans. It's that I'd much rather draw Green Lantern any day.
I mean, you do a great job with Green Lantern.
I'm comfy there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I assume that the constructs are just fun to draw. Like because you get to have all these like crazy core members, but the constructs are just so out there. And I'm assuming they give you some kind of creative license to do with the constructs.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. It always keeps you on your toes. You have to think through all these aliens. Like, you have to go, at one point in one issue of Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Robin Diddy said, hey, Kilowog makes a kind of baseball bat construct, and he smashes Larfleeze's bottled cities, whatever this collection was. And I said, Kilowog doesn't know what a baseball bat is, because he's an alien from another planet, but he might know what a club is. And what does a club look like? You know, like a blunt instrument, a blunt weapon from his planet. What does that look like? And you have to do a lot of thinking and creation on the spot. These are 7,200 alien races, and they all have different societies and different languages and different ways of looking at things. So you get to create that as you go, and you can see it in their constructs. It's fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. All right. So the next question is, I know I've asked this of Robert Venditti myself. I don't know what's coming. I asked him years ago now, so. Will we get to see a rematch of Hal Jordan versus Parallax Hal?
Wow, I hope so, and I hope I get to draw it. I want to draw it this time. I love drawing Parallax.
I know I asked him a long time ago, and like DC was in a completely different direction, and he was like, he thinks it's gonna happen, but DC's completely changed since then. So like the direction as a whole. So I was excited. I was like, you think? Is that you saying you know?
Oh man.
He's like, no, I'm hoping.
I would just have the world catch fire wherever Parallax Hal Jordan walked. I mean, you know, this is the thing. Sometimes I see what other people do, and I go, I want to do that, but more intense. So, like, if Hal Jordan Parallax came to Coast City, the buildings would just disintegrate around him. It would just be hell on earth wherever he was, because he is just destruction and fear incarnate. And it would be so fun. It would be so fun. I want to power him up. I want to level him up and make him look scarier. This is the kind of stuff I get excited about. I get psyched about stuff like this. You know, it's just, and an opportunity to make these guys look bigger, look more impressive, scarier. The villains, make them more villainous and powerful, look like bigger obstacles to overcome. I had the best job in the world, second to yours.
Oh, thank you.
You get to play video games all day too. So
well, that's the Twitch side. We get to play. You know, side note, like everyone's like, "Oh, Twitch is the greatest thing ever. You get to play video games all day." Try playing one game for 7 hours, 6 days in a row. It's not as glorious as it sounds out of the bat.
I could do it. I could do it for a year.
If we didn't have the chat to make that interesting and fun, it would not be a fun job at all. All right. Red Samurai would like to know, would you consider being on the weekly poll? You know of our show, right? Would you be on there to chat with me, Sal, and Rob sometime?
Oh, I'd be honored. When my channel gets a little bit bigger, yeah, I hope that you guys will induct me because I'd love to talk to you guys. I love all three of you. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah. No, you're always welcome. I know the other guys have no problems with you at all. Hey, cool. The problem that we have with the weekly poll, pulling in guests in general, is normally very difficult to schedule because of the time that we record the episodes. It's normally in most people's standard workday.
Well, you know, my work day is this.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're kind of like me. You get to make your work day. So,
yeah.
But it's every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern is when we normally go live.
Yeah. Let me know. I'll come on, sure. And we'll see if there's chemistry. Yeah, absolutely.
Greg Nash says they welcome your idea for a core. You're welcome for the idea. He's the one that came up with the 7 deadly sins, and he said a core of maroon lanterns for pride. The rest of the sins are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth.
Well, we would have to do that. You know, I would take maroon and say that it was the underside, the ugly side of red. And that's what I would do. I would say that like yellow was gold. And I would just make all of the colors kind of darker versions of like this would be the alternate. What would we call this? The alternate spectrum?
A negative spectrum. I like negative. Someone said that in the chat. I'm going with that. Negative spectrum.
Negative spectrum. Okay, yeah. I like that idea. Maroon is a good color for that. But I don't know if I would call them maroon lanterns. I would call them something else.
Mauve. The mauve lanterns.
And are they lanterns? I mean, that's the thing. Like, are they lanterns? I think they're more like they absorb, like they take rather than they emit. Because you think about what lanterns do. Lanterns give off light. So like these, whatever they are, like takes in light. It takes light away. Like kind of like Dawnbreaker did, but on a much more kind of intentional sort of scale. I mean, this is something that could happen. Absolutely.
There was okay. I'm going to trap you with this question. Okay?
Okay.
Because you said it, and Rob said that you were doing it, so now you got to answer for it. When's the Rob Corps getting into the Green Lantern Corps?
All right, listen, I'm going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a live sketch. We're going to design the Rob Corps for once and all. Now, I will tell you this. Rob was good enough to give me nice photo reference of himself, basically looking tough. Because every picture I found of Rob, he's like smiling, all cheery, yeah. So happy and cheerful. And so I was just like, no, I want you to look like mean, you know? So he did give me reference for that. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do it.
All right, I'll let him know. He's in Vegas right now. You might want to not do it tomorrow if you want him to be there.
Oh.
He's at a bachelor party till Monday.
Maybe I would have him as a guest, like in my, see if he'd want to come on my channel.
I know he'd be up for it. He wants to get back on there.
We could jam together, work it out.
And so another one, Tony D said the Rob Corps on the other side of the source wall. And then everyone called me out for playing Final Fantasy 14 for 4 days in a row.
Okay.
They're like, you chose to play that. Yeah, I did. I like that game. It's an MMO. It's like World of Warcraft, Ethan. You just sit there for hours. You just lose track of time. You're playing your game. I'm on it right now on the other screen. All right, so the next super chat we have is Kevin Sheen says, if Jenny Hayden Jade were to reappear, in which series would they be introduced and why? From a lone Kid Devil fan still wanting for Dante's Inferno-esque resurrection series of Kid Devil.
Kid Devil.
I don't even know. Who is that?
I saw Grant Morrison do something with Kid Devil. I don't know where he would be. What series would he be in? I guess maybe Justice League Dark?
Yeah, I can see Justice League Dark, yeah. His first appearance was in Firestorm? Huh.
Hmm. I used to draw that book. We never got around to him.
We never got around to him.
Didn't last very long. Yeah, we would have reintroduced him. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I can't help at all with this one. I don't know anything about him. Sorry.
You have to tell us, and we'll do what you want.
Yeah, yeah. Corey Morgan is asking your Green Lantern casting in live action. Who would you see as Hal Jordan, John, and Guy? I suck with castings because I don't know any actors' names.
Okay. Well, I would say, and I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Idris Elba for Jon Stewart? Is that right?
Yeah, that would be good.
Idris?
I guess the guy from Dark Tower recently, he'd be really good.
Yeah. My choice for Hal Jordan, and I've said this over and over again, even though maybe he's getting old now, but I picture these guys as slightly older than they normally get cast in these movies. Sawyer from Lost, Hal Jordan.
Oh, yeah, he'd be good at that role.
Yeah, cut his hair, give him a little. He's always had a beard, so get rid of that. He's handsome. He's got the chiseled jaw. He's got this mischievous smirk. I think he'd make a great Hal Jordan. And who's the other one I got to cast?
Guy.
Guy Gardner is John Cena.
He kicks a door in Guy Gardner. All right. We'll do another super chat, then I'll grab another one up there. James Call, once again, thank you so much for all these super chats, James Call. Science states that the closer you move towards light speed, the bluer you glow in color. Blue Lantern Flash is truly a case of serendipity. I don't think it's more of a question, more of a statement.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's great. Thank you for that bit of info. That's neat.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. So, the ABC Kevin. Oh man, the new X-Men and Runaways got me into Marvel. Jeff Johns' Teen Titans got me into comics. Would have loved to have seen your take on the Titans.
Yeah, I'll get around to it, I hope. I also want to do Legion of Superheroes at some point, just because I love Saturn Girl and I love Lightning Lad, and I would love to work on those too. That means I have to work on 150 other characters, though, doesn't it? That's I want those too. I don't want the other ones.
You didn't answer half of the other question when the Kid Devil things. We got distracted over who Kid Devil was. Jade. If they brought back Jade, where do you think she'd show up?
In Green Lantern.
Just
be a Green Lantern.
Oh, with Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz?
I'd put her in the core, but I'd want her, so I'd put her in our book. But no, she could go in that book if she wanted to. If they wanted her to. I'm greedy. I want everybody in my book.
You want everyone to be in the core?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Bring him over. Let me draw him.
And Jason says that I am a part of the ADHD core. That's very true.
Okay. Cool.
What core would you put the Joker into? I lost the person who asked that, so I apologize. But this was a question. Oh, there it is. Phil Garnett would like to know.
Oh wow, the Joker. He's not Rage. He's not Greed.
No. I think that'd be another funny compassion one.
Oh yeah. That kind of stuff is funny. Like I almost want to see that happen. He's definitely not Hope. So believe it or not, Joker's either going to be yellow or green, and
or black. I can see black.
Oh my God, like an undead Joker, like zombie Joker.
Just raising all of his own victims to use as weapons.
Oh, let somebody ask me to draw that zombie Black Lantern Joker. No, I guess I'm going to make him a Yellow Lantern, and I have drawn him as a Yellow Lantern before. It kind of worked. It looked pretty good. So
I could see that. Yeah. They're all yelling "Yellow Ring" in the chat here for you, so they're all agreeing with you on this one.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Uncle Ethan, when are you going to draw Etrigan?"
Etrigan? Oh, the
Etrigan.
demon?
I always say his name wrong. I always remember how to pronounce it through the rhyme. You know, gone the former man. I always remember it. Yeah.
I have a sketch of him that I did, and you know what? I'll post it on Twitter so you can see it. I would like to do it. I think somebody's currently, one of my friends is currently doing a Etrigan book. I don't know if it's out yet or not. Is it?
Actually, yeah. No, I saw that today. There is an Etrigan book now.
Okay, so
because I looked at it and I debated getting it because I like the character of him, but no one's done it right in like forever. So I was debating it because I'm at a weird point right now. I'm just playing catch up on a lot of books, not trying new stuff.
Here's the thing about it. I mean, it's like Etrigan isn't a character that I would like chase after. Like I don't necessarily want that job. But the thing about all of these characters is, like, I sit there and scowl when you say it because I'm sitting here thinking, what would I do with him? What would I do with him? And you immediately start getting excited about it. and just start coming up with ideas and visual ideas for these characters. Now it's like, yeah, I kind of do want to do Etrigan.
It's a mini series. They're saying I can't find the name of it though, but there is one out right now. Just like the Raven mini series that's out at the moment.
Yeah, Brad Walker showed me that like 4 months ago. He showed me pages from it, and I said, "Oh, good for you. That looks great." And in a way, I was kind of jealous. So I don't know. I'm jealous of everybody though. I want to do everything.
You want to do everything?
Yeah, I'm always like, I wish I were doing that. I'm happy where I'm at, but I wish there were 3 of me.
Then we'd have so much more awesome art going around everything. But then you would fight with yourself. No, I'm doing the Green Lantern. You're doing the Teen Titans.
Today I'm drawing Flash. You're drawing Green Lantern.
Joe Herb just gave us $20 without asking a question. I'm going to see if I can find if he asked one. Sometimes people do Super Chat and they mess it up and they send the money over without attaching a question to it by mistake.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, seriously. I'm going to double check to make sure you didn't get lost and everything. So you'd be before this one. But the next question, I'll go to Red Samurai's while I see if there is one from Joe Herb. But Red Samurai's question is, what are your thoughts on the DC films, and would Jake Gyllenhaal make a good Batman? Who should direct Superman and Justice League 2 movies? So I'm going to say, I'll let you know here, Ethan. I don't know what his, I've said on here what I've seen with the DCU movies. I think they're okay. They're all forgettable. But I still think the funniest moment I ever had, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but I got invited to a DC event, like a press event for Batman v Superman. And I walked in, and I went to all my contacts. I'm like, hey, how was the movie? I just got that. And I'm like, oh, when DC tells you that, you got a problem.
Oh, boy. Well, I liked Wonder Woman a lot. I like aspects of Justice League. I liked aspects of it. So I liked Wonder Woman. I liked Batman. I liked Cyborg a lot. I think he had the best portrayal in that movie. Superman needs work, guys. He needs work. And if you go to my channel, I have something like Ethan goes on an unhinged rant about Superman. You can watch me talk about how angry I am about sometimes the way Superman's being treated. Can I give you an example?
Sure.
All right. So in Justice League, I hope everyone's seen it. Superman comes back from the dead, and he's just standing there shirtless in front of like a monument in the middle of a city that presumably has people, even though you don't really ever see the people. And Wonder Woman comes up to him and says, Kal-El, and he's being quiet. You don't know. It's like zombie Superman. Is his mind there? Is he going to be okay? And Superman beats the living crap out of the Justice League and starts destroying public property and becomes very, very scary for a long time. Now, the key thing about Superman is we can never be afraid of him. Unless the entire story is about Superman unhinged and we're afraid of him. We can never be afraid of him. We have to trust him at all times. He has to prove himself worthy of our trust. He's here to save us. He's here to help us. He is a symbol of hope and love and just self-sacrifice. So what would have been better for that scene is if we didn't know if Superman was okay, and Wonder Woman went up to him and said, Cal, Clark, are you there? Are you okay? And he's just head down. And then he just looks up and goes, Diana, I'm back.
And that's what you want. You didn't want the fight?
Smile. Yes.
Okay.
No fighting.
But while I agree with you on that, was it not cool for him to grab Bruce and go, do you bleed?
But that was in Batman v Superman. I'm talking about Justice League.
No, I'm saying in Justice League. He grabbed and returned to the comment, though. Because in Batman v Superman, Batman was like, do you bleed? And so Superman grabbed him in that movie, and he picked up, he's like, Bruce, do you bleed?
I remember that now. Yeah, the answer is yes, Clark. Please put Batman down. But it's like, I don't know. Like, there needed to be a point where our hearts stirred and we were happy to see him again. And I was terrified of him through the whole movie, except at the end. The very end, it's like, okay, he's behaving like Superman again.
No, I agree with you on that one. I didn't mind Man of Steel. The portrayal of him in Batman v Superman and the portrayal of him in Justice League, it wasn't Superman. Man of Steel really wasn't Superman, but at least in that one, like, my wife loved that movie, and I could see it as, okay, with Man of Steel, they're going for, like, the New 52 mopey, trying to kind of get his act together Superman. Fine. I'll accept, like, as long as down the line we have hopeful Superman, But, I mean, by Justice League, it was kind of like,
I think the thing about it is that bothers me though is that the Kents raised him right. That's the whole point of Superman, is that he's this kind of blank slate essentially with lots of powers who luckily landed in the Midwest of the United States, and the Kents raised him to be a good boy with wholesome American values. And that's why when he leaves the farm, he's a good boy. He doesn't eventually become a good boy. He doesn't leave grumpy and wrapping trucks around trees. You know, it's like he's a good boy and he does the right thing. And he always needs to do the right thing so that we know what the right thing is, almost. It's like he needs to be someone that we can look up to.
Well, that's why he's so great in Rebirth, because it's that Superman. He leads the way. Yeah. He's the guy that we know will always do the right thing. You know, Batman slips up and looks into the dark multiverse, but you know Superman's there to save him, you know? Wonder Woman's trying to wonder about her origin, and should she kill someone, Superman's going to stop her. We know without a shadow of a doubt that that's what he's going to do now, and that's why he's so great right now.
I love it. Yeah, that's good.
And for those guys who are telling me that the line is stupid, I know it was stupid. That line from Superman to Batman was so stupid that it was good, but it was good for the wrong reasons, not the reasons they wanted it to be good. It was just that it was such a bad line.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see any more public property destroyed, and I don't want to think about people being hurt by Superman. It's disturbing. I mean, Superman's a very, very, very important character to me. I've loved him since I was 3 years old, and I saw Christopher Reeve play him in Superman the movie, which, if you guys haven't seen, it might be a little overlong, but it was written by, and I mean, it was basically a Superman movie done by the creative staff of The Godfather. Mario Puzo wrote it. You know, it's like Marlon Brando is in it. Great stars are in it, and they produced a comic book movie as though it were a fine film.
Yeah.
And it is a fine film. It holds up to this day, and it just serves as a template for how Superman is, how he behaves. And yeah, is he corny? Yeah, he is. He is, but that's why you love him. You trust him.
No, I agree with you on that one. So ABC Kevin came back with Kid Devil was Blue Devil's sidekick and was in Jeff Johns' Teen Titans. He was killed just before the Blackest Night, but he wasn't resurrected. R.I.P. Eddie.
Is he red? Does he have red skin?
Yeah, I looked him up. He does.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about him, but I mean, I know there's a lot of characters that are obscure that I don't know anything about, so I don't even argue about that one. There was one up here I wanted to see. Anyway, okay, so we talked about memes before. See if you know this one. Do you know the way?
Ugandan, what's his name? The character from Sonic.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Ugandan Knuckles.
Knuckles, yeah. I don't get it. I don't know where it came from or what it means.
So Jose, I think it's Jose Haynes asked this. So that is from a program on VR Chat, which is huge on like the YouTube scene and Twitch. And what it is a series. There was you can pick an avatar from anything you want, and you go into this VR world and you can chat in it. But there's this like mini deformed looking version of Knuckles. And what it started is they were repeating a line from a movie that was made in Uganda called Captain Alex. And it's one of those guys going, "Do you know the way?" And like a Ugandan accent. And what these kids were doing, or even adults, I don't know who's doing it, but they would be like 10 to 20 to 30 of these characters running around in a pack in VR, chasing after people, going, "Do you know the way? Do you know the way?" And now it's made various headlines because they're like, "Is it racist?" Like, because now are they making fun of Ugandans? And it's just people trolling. Leave it alone. It'll go away in like 20. Like the end of the month, we'll have a new meme that's going around.
Oh man, I love it. I started noticing that in Twitter, and I was just like, "What is this?" But whatever, keep doing it. It's funny.
Yeah, and that's all it is. So to follow up with that, a non-super chat question: what Lantern Corps would Ugandan Knuckles be in?
Definitely the Indigo Lanterns, because he has a lantern on a stick and he knows the way and he points the way.
Oh, I like that. That was such a smart answer to that. Okay, Kevin Sheen wants to know: would Dion Thanos or Boss Darkseid win?
Oh wait, Dion Thanos or Boss Darkseid?
Yeah.
What's Boss Darkseid?
Boss Darkseid?
Yeah, what is that?
I'm assuming they're referencing the Final Crisis where Darkseid took over the detective's body.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
I'm still saying Dion Thanos.
Dion Thanos?
Yeah, well, I'm going to make it so. I'm going to make it so that he's unbeatable.
Okay.
He's going to be unbeatable.
That's going to be epic. All right, Joe Herb. Oh, this is the individual who gave us the 20 and didn't follow up. We did check what we followed up. But he gave another to let us know. He wanted to know how strong Ben Grimm would be if he had a Green Lantern ring.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, you have to think about these characters, and you have to wonder if Ben Grimm exhibits great willpower. And I think that he does because, and it's very sad, he was badly, badly deformed by the cosmic rays, and he still gets up and gets out there, and he's a superhero. He doesn't lie around and say, I used to be so handsome. He gets out there, and he does his job, and he's the thing. And I think he would work that Green Lantern ring just fine. And is he creative? Yeah.
Ben Grimm's never, I wouldn't say he's creative. I would think Ben Grimm would probably do like the Hal Jordan or the Jon Stewart thing. Very mechanical, very like well known, like where they use like trains and cars and airplanes, that kind of a thing.
No. He would use just no, because Jon Stewart is smart and he knows the inside out of machinery. That's why his constructs look that way, because he's an architect.
Right.
Ben Grimm would probably make blunt force objects. I mean, it would be very much a lot of fists, I think.
A lot of brick walls he just throws at people.
Yeah. A lot of stuff like that. Yeah, he could do it. It'd be fun.
All right. Do you see lantern rings as arbitrarily tapping into the universe's rainbow of infinite emotions, or is the emotional spectrum set at 7 emotions total? That's a loaded question.
Okay, so first of all, let me just reiterate that emotions are not actually, it's called the emotional spectrum, but let's go through them. Okay, it's rage, it's avarice, it's fear, it's willpower, hope, compassion, love. Most of these are not emotions. What they are is their motivations, their drives. Okay, so it's like, now, what makes a woman save her child from a burning car? You know what I mean? What you have that just ability to do something, that adrenaline to make something happen that a normal human couldn't do. That is willpower. That is what powers a Green Lantern ring. Now, Hal Jordan's able to exhibit that kind of willpower and that kind of adrenaline and strength all the time. Most people can't do that. All of these things, all of these cores are run by personal motivation to get something done. What makes somebody become wealthy? Well, it's a motivation. It's willpower. It's sometimes fear. It's love. It's avarice. It's hope. I mean, these are things that make a ring work. So unfortunately, these 7 motivations are pretty much all there is on the actual emotional spectrum. I'd have to think if there are any more that you guys think of things. Think about like exerting in some way. Think about trying to make a ring work, like forcing it to work. Like what would make you force a ring to work? That is kind of what these colors are based around, those ideas. Does that make sense? Am I just bothering?
No, it does. It does. Like I said, this was a loaded question. We're talking about a lot of things here to try and make this work.
So what we're talking about before, the idea of the 7 deadly sins being the negative, spectrum is a great idea. It's a great idea.
You should pitch that to be able to do the dark multiverse negative core. Do you know how well that would sell the negative lanterns?
Yeah. It's someone else's idea. I don't know. Chat, can I steal it from you guys? Because I do think it would work. I think it's a great idea. But none of those are emotions either, are they? I mean, those are just attitudes, essentially.
Well, we're talking about the Green Lantern emotional spectrum. Half of those aren't really emotions.
It would be, that's what I'm saying. None of them are, really. I mean, they're not. So this would be the sinful spectrum. This would be the spectrum of sin. Whoa, that would be badass. The spectrum of sin, and the 7 deadly sins are on it. And so who discovers it? Somebody who is Lucifer.
Yeah. Oh,
and see,
wow.
What we've just done is we've created a whole thing for Green Lantern, a whole new story arc by taking these super chat questions and turning them into something
You
great.
should pitch that. Be like, I want to merge Vertigo and the Green Lantern Corps, so here's how Lucifer's going to come over. And he's going to come through the source wall.
Amazing. Okay. What do you guys think? What does the chat think?
I'll let you know when they hear the chat. There is a quick question that Christopher Gonzalez was wanting to know. Do you prefer Barry Allen Flash or Wally West?
I love them both very much. So what is the difference between the two? Barry Allen is a lot more kind of hard-nosed, a lot more about the law, and a little bit geekier, a little bit nerdier in terms of the fact that he's a police scientist, and he's all about kind of just straight-line justice. Wally West is a kind of tough guy, blue-collar, from basically DC Comics equivalent of Detroit. And you know, when you're from Keystone City, you wear shirts that say "Built in Keystone City." I'm Keystone tough, like that kind of thing.
Right.
And he's a little bit more. I don't want to say this the wrong way. He's kinder to the rogues. In other words, like he's like, well, you know, you guys are just dudes that are trying to get rich. That's cool, but I got to lock you up in Iron Heights for the next. Like, and if
I
you
know
get
it
out,
kind of
you get
sucks,
out,
guys, but I got no option.
Right. Whereas Barry Allen might be somebody who goes, you know what, like maybe the death penalty needs to be instituted in Central City because some of these guys are getting out. He's more kind of hard line about justice. So who do I prefer? I don't know. I like them both. I'm glad Barry's back, though. I didn't think the Flash universe was as good and complete without Barry Allen.
You need the full family. You know, we need. That's why right now we need Jay, and I love that they've like Jay's there, but he's behind whatever's going on. So
Jay is the friendly uncle, kind of older uncle character. Max Mercury's grandpa.
Yeah.
Then you've got the kids. Yeah, we did it. I mean, we set it up right. If you haven't read Flash Rebirth, at the end of Flash Rebirth, the Flash universe is established almost completely the way I want it, except we didn't get to introduce the Thawne family, which is the other thing that I wanted to do. We didn't get to do. We'll do it eventually.
All right. We had one super chat come through, but they didn't attach a question, but our moderator already grabbed it, so I'm going to ask this one ahead of everything just so I don't lose it. If you did a television series about Green Lantern, it would be a soft tone series in the style of CW or a more adult series in the style of Netflix.
I'd like to do. I'm immediately going to say Netflix because I think that the CW would skew too young. Like you'd want to see the Lanterns be younger men and women. Yeah. I would much rather see them hardened former Marines, like guys who and Army. You know, are they all Marines or is any of them Air Force?
Hal Jordan's Air Force. Yeah.
Air Force, right? So I'd rather see them be kind of like hardened former military guys. Who look like they've seen some road miles. And then I'd like to see some scary stuff, like stuff that doesn't belong on TV ordinarily. I want to see these aliens just be scary.
Well, like the Fear Spectrum. Like you'd want the Sinestro Corps to come down and see the Sinestro Corps. You wouldn't want to see them come down and just do yellow constructs.
No. And I want to see what these Sinestro Corps guys actually do. They're all terrorists.
Yeah.
So on their home planets, I mean, they absorb power by terrorizing their populations. It's like, oh my God, Carousel is terrifying. People don't want her around. I mean, it's like she does terrifying things that leave the planet afraid of her in order to power her ring. So these are the kind of things that I would like to, I guess it would have to be a Netflix kind of R-rated almost show, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like a dark and gritty kind of thing. All right, so we're going to catch. So I know I've been going back and forth between the non-super chats and the super chats. We're going to catch up on the super chats, guys. All right? So we're going to be on these for a minute. Superman versus Hulk, who would win? The age-old question, Mr. Ethan. Who would win?
Superman would just throw him into the sun. It's got to be Superman.
My argument has always been the Hulk, in theory, could beat Superman, but by the time we were getting to the point where the Hulk could beat Superman, Superman would have thrown him into the sun. He would have just disabled him and ended the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you could do a retcon, what would it be?
What is a retcon? To relaunch a series and start over again?
If you could change something in any comic line right now, what would it be? Let's go with that, because it was kind of vague.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I guess G.I. Joe.
You'd retcon G.I. Joe?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's put G.I. Joe back. Let's do G.I. Joe and let's start from the very beginning. I would start with G.I. Joe and represent the toy line as an ongoing narrative. So the original G.I. Joes would be there, the guys that were the size of Barbies from the 1960s. I'd find out about them and I'd make them the initial group. And then the next 10 that came out, the first 10 G.I. Joe toys that came out, I'd introduce them in as, newbies, and then we'd slowly build out the line as a story until you're getting crazy. All the crazy stuff that came at the end, all the wacky, colorful stuff.
I remember liking G.I. Joe when I was a kid. The only thing that really because the G.I. Joe was kind of like it was ending when I was kind of like my childhood was ending, that kind of a thing. And I remember the only thing that really stood out with me was the crazy stuff at the end, like Cobra Commander being an actual snake and things like that. It just be like,
it got a little weird.
I was like, what?
I mean, I would make it very much militaristic. I would not use lasers. I would use guns and bullets and everything. I would make it real, and I'd make Cobra a very terrorist organization. Again, I'd try to base them in real world, even though there'd be elements of superhero to it. The other thing that I want to do that's going to sound crazy, and I'll say it to your audience and see what they say. I want to take all of the girls' toy lines from the 1980s, Cabbage Patch Kids, Care Bears, Rainbow Bright, et cetera, et cetera. I want to put them all together in one big universe and kind of make it like Game of Thrones.
That would
Rainbow
be cool.
Bright,
like the Kingdom of the Barbie, Kingdom of Light Bright.
Absolutely. Well, Barbie might not be in it because she's human, but like Strawberry Shortcake would be. And like the Cabbage Patch Kids would be human clones that are grown in the ground. You know what I mean?
That would be insane. They're like actual cabbage in the Cabbage Patch.
Yes, you have to grow them in the ground, and they're just cloned humans with blank eyes and chubby faces. And Rainbow Bright would be badass. Rainbow Bright would have her rainbow sword. She'd be riding a horse through different kingdoms and everything like that, and fighting with the Care Bears, who would be ferocious. Animals that kind of control or are powered by the emotions of children on Earth. And all this would happen over the rainbow. Now, if you go on my page, if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see that I did a video where I changed girls' toys into boys' toys. And one of them, I took Rainbow Bright and made her into Rainbow Brute. And he's this barbarian from the other side of the rainbow that drinks dew off the leaves of flowers, gets mad and fights the Thundercloud men. All this stuff is interesting to me. Like, if you just take all these kind of properties that don't really work anymore, that exist in limbo, and then build a whole universe around it and tell it straight, be serious about it, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. You'd get into it, wouldn't you?
Oh, no, I definitely would. I love anything with Game of Thrones. You could take the Game of Thrones spin and put it on anything. That's probably the craziest idea that I've heard for Game of Thrones, but the chat is all about it. They'd be on top of it if you made that series.
Really? All right. Sounds cool.
They also said that a few people said, no, it's chats. You can't have the Sin Core. But most people said it is cool to use.
Okay, good.
Okay, can you make edible constructs?
No.
Yeah, I don't think that would work. I don't see that working.
I mean, it would work, but it wouldn't be nourishment. I mean, you could literally make a construct that looked like a sandwich and chew it up and swallow light, but it wouldn't nourish you. It wouldn't break down into nourishable like component parts or anything. So
right.
No, yes and no.
I just lost it. There it is. Thank you both for entertaining me as I do bookkeeping. We need more interviews like this. I wonder if I can write off this super chat from Anti-Productive Man. Actually, yes. I think in theory you could.
We helped you work.
The Batman 9628 says Thanos got arrested or Darkseid who got I guess it's a versus, but Thanos who got arrested or Darkseid who got mugged.
What does that mean?
There's no a question attached. I don't know.
The answer is yes. The answer is always yes.
Either. Right?
Yeah.
Corey Morgan says, final Green Lantern core thought, King Arthur. Core, story idea, a retelling of King Arthur myth where he gets a ring instead of Excalibur and Merlin is a guardian. Isn't there one in canon for that?
Well, I will tell you this. King Arthur was absolutely the model for Hal Jordan in Green Lantern Rebirth. And Jeff and I used to talk about this. Where once you see Green Lantern actually get his ring back and step out of the coffin that he was in, resurrected at the end of Green Lantern number 4, I believe it is. I said, Jeff, he's King Arthur. And you can see him hold the ring like it's a sword, and it's making a big lantern symbol like a shield. I mean, that was the imagery that I was going for. it's like he's back. King Arthur is back, and he's gonna fight, his ultimate foe.
Yeah. No, that'd be amazing.
But yeah, I do agree with you. King Arthur, the actual King Arthur story, could definitely be, Green Lanternized, so to speak.
I swear that there's like a dwarf character like in history who was like a part of King Arthurian lore, who's already a core member from like the 1960s. I swear this guy exists. Not even joking. I'm looking this up. I'm looking King Arthur, Green Lantern.
Well, listen, you should know you're a Comicstorian.
I did like an every lantern or weirdest lantern kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I swear there was a character. It sounds familiar. I'll find him after we're done with this. I know I will.
Okay.
Okay. And then we had the chat with that we already asked the question for. Superboy Prime versus Parallax versus Trigon. Who is the best?
Parallax. No,
Yeah.
Superboy Prime.
I'm gonna go with, depending on which version of Superboy Prime. Super powered up Superboy Prime. I mean, you really can't beat him.
That's the thing. Like I think it's Superboy Prime, even though I would hope Parallax would kick his butt. Like that's my hope. I would hope that would happen. I don't know. Jeff would say no, Superboy Prime.
Isn't like Superboy Prime like one of his baby kids? Like he just
Yeah. Yeah, he based a whole series on him. I mean, 2 whole series on him. So yeah, he loves his Superboy Prime.
Okay. Ryan Radford says, "Can you please start writing for the CW DC shows?"
Yes. No, I can't.
Is that a job offer?
No, it's like I'm not much of a writer. Like this is the thing. What we're doing right now, I mean, all of us together, is we're doing what I do, which is to spitball and pull ideas together and create motivation for a good writer to write a great story that's exciting to people. So I come up with ideas and feed them off to writers, and we jam and talk back and forth. But then when it comes to sitting down and writing a story with dialogue and a cohesive narrative, can't do it. It's I'm a drawer. I draw.
Well, I mean, you're the artist, so.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I can do.
Which lantern would the Bat family be? Like the whole family, I guess.
Green.
Green? I like the idea of yellow, but I can see in the end of that not working.
They could be yellow, but see, okay, so the whole thing about Batman is, what is Batman's primary weapon? And it isn't what's in his belt, okay? It's intimidation and fear. Because the first thing, you could be 5 guys in an alley, tough guys. The first thing you see when you see Batman is you say, "Oh my God, is that a gigantic bat that's coming down to me?" And before you can get your bearings, you're kicked in the face and knocked out. So fear, intimidation, confusion, these are Batman's first weapons, and then his, street fighting abilities. But I'd still want him to be green. I just think it's so much about willpower and the strength to move on, isn't it? After everything you've seen, what's been taken from you, the strength to move on is willpower. So I'd want him to be green, but he could be yellow too.
I mean, I enjoy yellow myself, but I can see you using behind green. Oh, yeah. Get some reverb now. Is it gone? Okay, we're good. So like sometimes it won't catch on that it's coming back through the speaker, so I can hear it coming back out. All right, Corey Morgan had another one. I lied. One more. Where would they go? Power Rangers, the original 6. Same core or different core? Why? Okay, that's like 9 questions, Corey.
Yeah, I'd need to know each of them individually, and I don't. So, are they all such distinctive personalities?
Depending on which iteration we're talking about. I mean, if we're talking like the original 90s, they were all like, they're all spunky kids who know karate. I have problems in English, and I have problems with my tournaments.
They'd definitely be Green Lanterns. All of them would be Green Lanterns. All of them.
Over the years, they've given them a lot more personality. They've really developed them. The new Boom series is amazing.
Is it really?
Yeah, but you go back to the originals, and it's like, hey, gang, I'll meet you at the soda shop. Morphin time. I mean, I loved it as a kid, so don't get me wrong, but...
I thought it was just Voltron. I'm like, this is just Voltron all over again, isn't it?
Is.
I mean, yeah, I love Voltron. I still do.
So our last super chat, okay? And we're gonna start closing down the shop here at this point. I'm gonna go with Josiah. Oh, we got 2. So Josiah Hayes again. I'm probably mispronouncing the first name, but the last name is Haynes. So, what would happen if Thanos put the Yellow Lantern ring onto the Infinity Gauntlet? P.S. Ugandan Knuckles will never die. Long live the way.
Yeah, I think that Thanos would be super powered, essentially. I mean, listen, that yellow ring is powered by the fear that the wearer generates. So Thanos is a scary guy, man. So I think that he would be overpowered at that point, and that would be cool. That'd definitely be cool. I've drawn that too. I have a sketch of that, so I'll post that on Twitter as well.
Okay. So now the actual last one. How long, James Call would like to know, how long before we get the Green Lantern swimsuit special, and will he get Kilowog in a Speedo?
We got to do that right now. We got to do that immediately.
Can you somehow, in one of your upcoming Green Lantern issues, have a reason why Kilowog is in a Speedo? Just
a Speedo.
Have it in the issue.
Rob Venditti, did you hear this? I mean, make it happen. I'll draw it. I promise.
Just picturing big pink Kilowog, right? Big pink Kilowog, little emerald green Speedo.
And Hal just walking in on him and going, what is, and Kilowog being like, this is what they wear. This is what they used to wear on my planet.
Yeah, this is how we used to sleep.
Are you making fun of our customs? What is it?
I think that's the best question to end on, guys. So if you want to learn all variant cover months, Snowman would like to see that. So if you guys want to learn how to draw, you want to chat with Ethan more, he does a lot of live chats on his channel. Link is down below. He also teaches how to draw on a regular basis. You can also find him on Twitter, EthanManSciver. He's a great guy to chat with. He's good to talk to about comic books. Fun guy to talk to. If you enjoyed this, let me know on Twitter or here. I don't even know how to check chat afterwards. I'll find a way. If you enjoyed this though, I'm focusing on you and I'm sitting here doing the outro. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know. We'll see if we can work out me and Ethan chatting again. He'd like to do where he teaches you guys how to draw on my channel. And we thought that that'd be fun to do, but we just couldn't figure out how to make it work today. And we thought that this would be enjoyable. So just let me know what you guys think. And overall, go say hi to his channel. Go subscribe. You'd really appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian. Crack-a-ca-goom!